Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Big Brothers podcast, where we give you a rundown of the week, our thoughts and opinions on how it was handled. I'm your co-host, Jacob, and let me tell you, I love games.
Yeah, thoughts and opinions on the week. My opinion is that sucked. Tucker, what were you doing with that puzzle, buddy? I immediately ran to my fridge, grabbed my quirky hard seltzer, and immediately started slamming it down. Had to pour one out for my man. What great TV. It was fun while it lasted, boys.
Truly.
Much like Angela toasting the black and white image of Brooklyn with the charcuterie, I lift my cup and I say, cheers, boys. We're mourning a fallen soldier today.
Cheers. Truly, another week of BB26 in the books. Another banger of a week. I think we all felt a lot of emotions as Tucker was eliminated on T-Core's HOH. But before we get all the way there, we need to give a rundown of each of the episodes that happened this week and how it really led up to this emotional, draining eviction for, I guess, every single person in the house except Chelsea. So, and Quinn. Let's find out, though. We start on episode 1 after Brooklyn's eviction, and we see just an absolutely horrific noise competition. Finn, what was your opinion on listening to Kenny shave his head?
Yeah, I didn't need that in my life. I mean, we all know these microphones are hot, and we all know that they're picking up every little noise that these house guests are making. But I didn't need to hear it amplified in my speakers. I didn't need that in my life. And if I were there competing in that competition, I would have been so self-conscious that I would have been out round 1. I am telling you, that was horrible.
Well, you and like half the house. So apparently, yeah, Mary, no one could pay attention to that competition, it seemed. What did it last? 3 questions?
One of the shortest comps we've seen in a hot minute, bro. And for good reason. That was terrible. Just like Finn said, bro, I couldn't stomach it, man. Well, I could, but barely. You know what I mean?
No, that was a horrific competition. And so after 3 rounds, we see T-Core getting the noise right, and she is our new HOH. And let me tell you, for a girl that basically won a crapshoot competition, the house seemed like she had discovered fire, because Rabina and Chemo bawling. There was a whole section built for Rabina crying into T-Core's arms, and T-Core all the way to the bank. Do you think that T-Core has like also kind of like similar to Tucker, that like kind of messiah feel where people are just like want to like just, I don't even know, like are just magnetized to T-Core? What do you think, Finn?
Yeah, T-Core is in one of the best positions in the house right now. Well, at least she was prior to this eviction. But people just seem to really gravitate towards her, and I totally understand it. I think her personality is absolutely magnetic. So the fact that people were crying because they were so happy that she had won really speaks to how strong of a social game she's playing in this house. And I think it's going to come back to bite her pretty quick.
Yeah, we will definitely be going over what our thoughts are on how T-Core handled this HOH, because I think it is very like hot and cold. You either think she ran it really well, or you think it was the worst HOH of the season. And I don't know, maybe it's in the middle somewhere, or maybe it's one of the either or. But yeah, T-Core wins the HOH. And this was a pretty silly, fun episode, right, Mary? Like, I feel like in the first episode, we'll kind of get by it pretty quick. But it seemed like after that competition, it was quite lighthearted. Lots of like, you know, music. Was it Chemo that was singing in the room?
Yep. Hey, first off, shout out the homie Ike from last episode predicting T-Core winning the HOH.
I forgot about that. Nice one, Ike.
He did that. And yeah, like you said, it was almost like some Game of Thrones shit when the new king or queen is ushered in and everyone's just celebrating, loving life. Everyone was so happy, not realizing that T-Core was about to have to put 3 of them up. Like, I swear, like, I think coming into this week, like Finn said, she had real, like, aura. She had real mist. Everyone loved her. But, we'll see if that sticks after an indecisive HOH, to say the least.
I mean, T-Core, if there's anything I could say about her, it's indecisive is really her MO. But before we get to these indecisive nominations, we see the twist of the week. AI Instigator. And of course, who else but Tucker wins the AI Instigator? Finn, were you a fan of this twist?
I think it was kind of a novel concept. I thought it was kind of funny, but in the grand scheme of things, I feel like it was a very non-consequential twist. I know the episode kind of framed it as though it's the reason why Angela went up, but I personally think the reason Angela went up is because Angela. That's really it. I don't really think it had anything to do with the twist, and I think the twist was just production saying, listen, we're spending all this money making these deep fakes, we might as well use them. And use them they did this week. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they got their money's worth, I think. I guess it depends on how much they actually spent on that. But yeah, Tucker basically is in charge of instigating the house. And I will say, for this first episode, we got a pretty good one with Tucker literally revealing that he is in a showmance with Rabina. But more than that, absolutely shoving her under the bus, saying they should have voted her out. And she starts bawling and crying. And Tucker's in the DR like, oh, I fucked up. Was this not kind of funny?
Dog, this was a 10 out of 10 start. That earned him the 20K outright, in my opinion. No matter what may have come in the subsequent, instigations, this first one was S tier, man. I mean, wow. And honestly, it made me come out of it liking Tucker even more, because this dude was just such a sweetheart, and he didn't realize that he was about to be pulling off such a like crappy move on like his closest person in there.
I know. It's like completely like does not mean to just destroy her, and he just decimated. She's gonna come out of the house at the end of the season still not knowing that he was the AI instigator. It's so funny. Julie's gonna tell her when she walks out on stage, either when she wins or loses, and she's gonna find out. It's hilarious.
It's probably gonna be at the end of the season. That's amazing.
Yeah. But I think that's hilarious. But anyway, Tucker feels bad about it, and I guess kind of just butchers the rest of the AI instigator twist. But we move on from that until episode 2. And we get back to kind of the main plot, and that's T-Core trying to figure out who is going on the block. Then she ends up nominating Cam MJ, but she can't find that third nominee. And I mean,
and
who decides to do what?
And what does Tucker say? He says, well, if you need to use me as a pawn, I guess so, but I don't want to. Buddy, the fact that you're even throwing that out as a possibility means that she's gonna do it. You gave her the rope that she used to hang you in this game, man.
Tucker probably could have stayed off the block this week. Am I crazy? Like he could have stayed off the block this week, right, Neri?
Absolutely.
I think if he didn't say anything, she would not have put him up. She wouldn't have done it without him volunteering himself. He screwed himself, man.
I thought we learned from young Cedric, but no. Do you think we'll learn again from Tucker or no?
Probably not. At this rate, you can lead a horse to water, but if they're not going to drink the water, they're going to die of thirst.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
Must-
dehydration this season.
Must
Let me say.
volunteer for the block.
It is ridiculous. So Ecor decides on Cam, MJ, and Tucker. Do you guys, before we move on to episode 2, do you think that there was a better nomination? Who do you guys think?
So
Leah.
Yeah,
So
same.
the thing is, T-Core is trying way too hard to play the middle at a point where you're really running out of room to play the middle. Like
There's no middle for you to play.
Exactly, that's the problem. Like the house isn't divided enough for her to keep doing this. She just turned on an alliance that she was a part of, and now she's trying to play both that alliance by putting up someone like MJ and Tucker, but then also trying to have her cake and eat it too by going after Cam. And it's just like she had no reason to put Tucker on the block. She's close with Tucker. There's no way Tucker was going to put her up for at least, like, I don't know, another 5 or 6 rounds. And that was someone that was in front of her as a target. And now I think people are going to start to see her as a target moving forward. And I think it was a mistake to gamble with Tucker's life. She gambled with his life, and it's going to backfire on her.
It wasn't even shown on the show, but Tucker was crying too when T-Core won. He was crying about how happy he was that she won. Like, yeah, Tucker was a huge threat, but like we saw today, he's not unbeatable. And I don't know, like I think like if anyone else took out Tucker, might have been okay for T-Core, right? But taking him out herself, like you're blowing up a huge shield in front of you, and I don't know, but we can get to how it is later. We move on to episode 2. This was a 2-hour episode, so we kind of got 4 episodes of Big Brother this week. However, this one felt like they could have been an hour. Maybe I'm wrong. And then they just kind of like extended everything out. Don't get me wrong. I really liked this episode, like the second episode of the week, the Wednesday episode. It was great, but definitely like didn't need to be 2 hours. I think they just needed to fill a time slot, and they got it done effectively, I think. But what do you guys think?
Yeah.
You go ahead, Miri.
Sorry, I'll
You know,
direct. Miri, what do you think?
You know, I'd say like a 2-hour Vito episode never really feels essential, but I'm also never going to complain for more Big Brother content. I mean, like we're all super fans here. I don't think anyone's going to complain about like 40 more minutes of content on the screen. So, you know, it was fun. Like you said, I mean, we got a classic kind of compact with the punishments. We got to see all the punishments with their own segments. It was, which we'll get into, of course. But yeah, I was happy with it for the most part.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
I actually really like that. Finn, what do you think about the episode as a whole?
There's been an interesting trend lately where they have like a mid-season 2-hour Veto episode and they just make it the prize comp. And they fill out the episode by focusing on the punishments, and really they drag out the prize comp longer than it needs to be dragged out.
Yeah,
well.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree.
It is an effective way to fill time, and you know the punishments are they're funny. They're funny. Like it's a part of it's a part of every season that I look forward to. But I feel like they could do something better with it. I feel like instead they should make a Thursday night 2-hour episode and just make that a double eviction or do a triple eviction again. That was, you know, kind of fun. The problem was it was BB2, or BB22. But anyways, that's
and it was an hour that they did it, right? Wasn't it an hour? It's like that's a 2-hour episode. That would be great for a triple eviction, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have 2 rounds of Big Brother play out live during the second hour.
Oh my God.
That's a great way to use a double episode. What are we doing with all of this nonsense?
Yeah,
it's funny, but it's like, come on.
It was a fun episode. Could have been an hour. I think I totally agree with you. I think a triple eviction or even a double eviction 2-hour episode is definitely the move. I totally agree with you. But let's move on to the individual episodes, and we start with Angela cheersing Brooklyn with the charcuterie board. Mary, was this not just like so good?
Chef's kiss, man. Just the gift that keeps on giving is Angela on this season, man. Oh man, it was perfect.
It's so good. She's so meta. Like she just like knows the show so well that she like knows what to give, you know? Like I get
Yeah,
why people don't like her, but also I'm like, how could you not like the season would feel like it's missing something if she wasn't there, you know?
for
Mhm.
real.
Like the alternate universe where she's the first evicted is a sad, sad place, you know? But we see Cam and Leah talk while Cam's in the shower. And I think this is actually one of those parts that really, like, for me, stood out because it wasn't really crazy standout, like, strategy moment. But I think specifically because it was Cam that it did stand out to me. And so he recognizes that he was going to get voted out last week if he was next to Chelsea, guaranteed. And he kind of says like that he's like gonna, you know, maybe bolster up in the game a little bit. Finn, how are you feeling about Cam kind of waking up ever so slightly? You know, he's less of a pet rock, more of like a pet like salamander or something, you know?
Yeah, I think he definitely needed to take himself off the block this week. I do think that really propelled him in the direction he needed to go in this game. Up to this point, he was pretty quiet, dare I say irrelevant. But I think he's starting to realize that he was about to go home just the day before. And now he's starting to wake up a little bit, like you said, and it's exactly what he needed. I think very early on, like week one, I think we kind of pegged him as like a person who is going to go on a comp run. Like he's going to, he's going to lay low at first, but he's got the ability to pull out all these comp wins, kind of like Xavier did on BB23. And I think that's the trajectory he's headed for
Yeah, I
sure.
think he just needs to make it. If he can make it to final six, I could see him like winning a bunch of comps in the end and then winning the game, to be honest. Just because he's like likable guy that looks good. Like he honestly just like has the whole package. He's just terrible at the game. But a little less terrible now. And like that's dangerous for everyone else. Like if anyone else wakes up and goes, oh shit, this guy's actually playing, could be lights out for a lot of people, you know?
They need to watch out for Cam and Chelsea for sure. That is going to be a dangerous pair moving forward.
Super dangerous. I totally agree with you. But before we get to any more game talk, we see some rolling butt action. Mary, did you like the twerk session you saw?
Can't say I liked it, but I definitely had a good laugh, man. It was a pretty iconic scene. I mean, it's not going to be one of those scenes we reflect on as like a top 5 moment of the season. Angela learning how to twerk, man. I don't know. It was pretty crazy.
In her winter edit, it's going to be a big part. It's going to be the twerk queen. Is that what we'll call her? In Angela's BB26 game, twerk queen, how she won, you know?
Hey, I'll just say this. I knew in tonight's episode when we got to like, when they always put that little clip before they play like the intro, I knew it was going to be her twerking, man. I just knew it. So expect to see that a few more times this season.
Rolling butt, throwing ass, baby. I love it.
And then it was actually relevant to the plot. I was sitting there going, why are they showing us this?
I mean, come on. You don't want to see Angela throwing that booty back? Are you kidding me? I don't know. It's kind of okay. Anyway, moving on.
I'm just happy they didn't also show us Quinn throwing it back. Okay, because I've heard he's been known to throw back on the feeds.
Bro, let me tell you, Quinn ain't throwing it back on Leah. That's for sure. Holy shit!
Oh wow,
that scene was so awkward. Quinn goes up to Leah, and Leah in the diary room. I swear to God. First of all, she kind of looks like Barbie. Second thing, though, she talks like a plastic Barbie, too. Yeah, Quinn is someone that I like in the game. There's no way. You're lying, Leah. You're a liar. You're lying to us right now. She hates Quinn, right?
Probably. Their relationship on the feeds has been kind of tumultuous. She's told people that he kind of rubs her the wrong way, and then it got back to him, and he confronted her about it, and she denied it. So it's like she's it's a very interesting dynamic. I don't really know how she actually feels about Quinn, but they are definitely not a showmance. That is
No.
for sure.
No, we know.
Oh.
Friend zone.
Mhm.
Friend zone. I don't even think it's definitely not the friends zone. That's for sure.
It might be a
Um,
one-way friendship with Quinn. I mean, I'm not sure that Leah actually likes him that much, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll keep in contact after finale night.
No, I mean to say when Quinn starts reading through the Reddits, he's gonna find out really quick that Leah is not his ally.
Man, he literally did the thing that they do in movies when there's so much awkward silence that you like pretend you heard them say something. He was
What?
like, What'd you say?" She's
What?
like, I didn't say anything. And then she just got up and
Nothing.
left, man.
That's so true. That's so awkward. But we get to a classic veto comp, kind of. Yeah, I'll call it a classic.
Yeah.
Yankee swap. It's classic, right? Yankee swap. Finn, I totally agree with you though. I think that this competition dragged on a little bit too long. But it was kind of cool, the slingshotting. I thought the comp setup looked really cool, I think. And it was like a fun comp. Didn't need to be 20 minutes long, but still fun comp. It's a fun comp. But we see some really cool interactions. Joseph, first of all, getting the Matrix on it, and then roasting Rabina's laugh. That was pretty funny.
That was savage. I can't lie.
Can I ask though, if Chemo was in the comp, would they switch the Hawaii prize to somewhere else, or would he go to Hawaii?
I mean, they're probably putting them up in a nice hotel, so I imagine Chemo would be like, yeah, I'll stay on the beach for a week. Why not? But it's really funny to think about, oh, I want a trip to Hawaii. Cool. I get to go home.
Yeah.
Yay.
I go to
Basically, you're just paying for his flight home.
So we get a punishment for Joseph, a punishment for Angela, a punishment for Tucker, $5,000 that Tucker gives T-Core. Fucking stupid. A Hawaii trip for MJ and a veto for Cam. But he's stepping up in the world. We then get a few more really pathetic AI instigator things where they're talking about Angela's twerking ability. And I don't know, Miri, how do you feel about these AI instigator ones after the Rabina one?
Yeah, in my head, I think Tucker was just like, yeah, the first one was too much. I'm just gonna kind of just play more lighthearted tricks. It obviously flopped. I mean, it was not really that fun to watch necessarily because no one was really bugging out too much about it. But I mean, I get what he was doing. And like I said, the first one was so good, I can excuse it. I was cool with it. You know what I mean?
They couldn't even edit the episode for people to like be like, oh, like even them, like Angela, it's stupid. They're stupid.
And the deep fake of Tucker did not capture his likeness at all. He sounded so monotone. It's so off how he actually talks that I was just sitting there watching it. I'm like, is this like Tucker talking right now? Is this actually Tucker's voice? What is going on?
Well, we get into a way more fun segment. I don't know about you guys. I thought this was a really fun couple of back-to-back segments. We get the punishment saga, okay? And we start with Tucker's punishment. The AI assistant, correct? Finn, how do we feel about Tucker's punishment?
I think he took it like a champ. Honestly, all three punishments were kind of brutal in their own special way. And Tucker's is one of those punishments that I would absolutely hate because it requires you to get up and do stuff, and they keep yelling at you until you do it. And the fact that he had to go through a bunch of encyclopedias, which for me, growing up with Google most of my life, that would have been actual hell. I would have hated every second of it. So I have to applaud Tucker for making it so fun and doing his cute little robot voice. He had a blast with it, and I had a blast watching him.
Yeah, he was actually like quite like pretty like heartwarming about that. I actually didn't mind it that much. My question is, do they get to like use the encyclopedias while they're in there? Because like, if you have nothing to read, do you just like read dictionaries?
Probably not.
Yeah,
I imagine
probably
you weren't
not.
allowed to touch it unless your name is Tucker.
That's a good point.
Also,
Yeah.
like those can't be real encyclopedias, right? They got to be like full of facts so we can actually look for like answers, right?
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't make sense for it to be like a 10,000 page like, encyclopedia. Eh?
Like, bro, imagine 3 a.m. someone's asking you to find out the year someone won a boxing championship, and you're just looking through letters, looking for
Yeah,
like
like-
a fact. Oh my god.
Yeah, that would be great. 4 hours like looking through these goddamn encyclopedias. Yeah, you're right, actually.
And
Um,
that's what it's like to be Google.
Definitely a pain of a punishment. I don't think that was the worst. I think the worst was the next one. Angela's punishment. Mary, were you crying or laughing while you watched this punishment?
Well, it starts off, and it's Angela. She's gonna make it kind of funny, right? And it starts off that way. And even as she's getting tired, you're starting to feel for her. But this scene may have been honestly one of the most like genuine and like empathizing scenes I've ever seen of a house guest. Because I mean, you see her break down because basically describe the punishment. You got to carry 1,000 little bouncy balls from one side of the backyard to the other, and that seems simple enough, but you got to do it one at a time. So that's 1,000 laps. She's a middle-aged woman, and on top of that, she has to go periodically and just get absolutely slimed
Yeah, she
from
gets
every angle and then doused in cold water. I mean, I felt so bad for her, man. When I was so happy to see people stick up for her and actually like support her. You know what I'm saying? Like actually like root her on. Because I mean, if she was alone on top of all of that, man, I think it would have been too much. But it was a very humanizing scene. I think anyone that's a hater of Angela watching that scene, you can't stay a hater for too long. You know what I mean?
It also made me really like MJ, like when MJ like is walking with her, like yeah, it was brutal. And I think it's just so funny that it's like the producers know that they're gonna get like just an awesome segment out of this because like they're the ones that make this punishment so brutal and they start off so funny and then it just declines so fast into like just absolute destruction of a poor woman. It's so funny but so dark. Yeah, Finn, did you like that? You agree with that?
The sliming, I think, was a little bit much. I mean,
I
the
agree.
going back and forth the yard, however many times, they've done that before, and it's proven to be brutal enough. But adding on that extra layer, just really, I think it really wasn't necessary. I don't think
Did
the
she have
sliming
to
was
like
necessary.
put the soup back on while she was soaking slimed?
I think so.
That blows.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Her
I mean, that
boobs
would wear
must have been
anyone down
so
after a while.
full.
Is this kind of in talks for one of the most brutal punishments they've doled out?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, do y'all remember BB16?
Brittany?
Oh my God, what was Brittany? She had to kick that soccer ball.
Oh my god.
Like
Yeah,
a couple, like
she
a bunch
had like her
times.
toenail was falling off. or something like that.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
that was brutal, and she was stationary. Like this was like
Yeah.
constant movement for 12 hours, man. Like picking and dropping.
She was
Getting
actually
doused.
did it for 9.5 hours. That's
God.
a work day plus like travel to and from work. That's
Oh.
crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. All right, but we get to my favorite punishment.
Oh.
The oh my god. Is it the mat verse? And at first when I heard
Matrix.
this, the matrix. When I first heard this, I was thinking, oh, like a mattress, like it's gonna be like Pillow Land or something. No, they bring back AI Matt, and they honestly make a better character of AI Matt than actual Matt. It's crazy, dude. This guy is so funny. He's so lucky. He was out first, but he got more screen time than like Lisa and Kenny combined. It's
For
crazy.
real.
He was hilarious.
So a lot of feedsters were wondering why Joseph's solitary confinement was not showing on the feeds because there is precedent for the feeds to have a dedicated camera to it. Then it came out what he was doing inside the pee tent. We're not going to talk about that. But what makes it even more hilarious is that no one knew.
Was he
what?
peeing in the pee tent?
No, he was not peeing in the pee tent.
Was
I'll
he
leave
Let's
it at
just-
that.
pee tent?
Let's just say,
I'll
let's
leave
just
it at
say,
that.
let's just say he was channeling the energy of a Mike Boogie, circa All Stars.
Oh
If
my-
anyone gets that reference, fam.
So he was smacking sillies in the pee tent. And Matt's talking the whole time?
Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's the part that made my head spin because I didn't know that AI Matt was talking nonstop the entire time. So now I have some questions.
If you're Matt, do you feel scarred? Like, are you like offended by this?
Or
Are
do you
you
feel
like-
kind of flattered?
Yeah.
Are you like-
Like, are you like, no?
They did kind of
Big
roast
deal.
him.
Dude, that was hilarious. Just Matt, like rhyming with Matt was hilarious. Doormat, format. So funny. Matt talking about crazy eyes. I could be
Crazy
cozy
abs, man.
Yeah.
Didn't he count to 1,000 at one point?
It was
Oh.
Did you
Did
know that
someone-
words under 1,000 don't have an A in it? 1. No way. 2. No way. It was so
Did
good.
someone write all that, or is this just an
No.
AI chatbot making things up?
It's AI.
It's
for-
okay.
for sure, I think. Can you imagine they made like they're like an intern? They're like, hey, we have to make 24-hour script. Good luck. Like,
He can't
Jesus.
pause at all. He just has to keep talking. Yeah, it's
Oh.
gotta be AI.
So we get this punishment segment. It's like 30 minutes long, 10 minutes like each one, or like maybe 20 minutes, something like that. I had a lot of fun with this. We obviously had a lot of fun, but we got to get back to some game talk. And Angela is told by Tucker in the pool that people think she's the AI instigator, but not to listen to them because he trusts her implicitly. He has her back no matter what. He trusts her more than anyone. He'd take her over Rabina, and Angela goes to the diary room and backstabs the living shit out of Tucker. It is actually on point for Angela to do this. Mary, am I crazy or is that true?
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, I think we've been a couple weeks removed from major Angela craziness. I'd like to say maybe there's typical Angela craziness, but this is probably the closest we've gotten to like week 2 paranoid Angela. You know what I mean? And let me pose a question to y'all real quick, because I mean, what's the butterfly effect if Tucker, instead of giving T-Core the $5,000, takes Angela's punishment and gives her the $5,000? Does she spiral the same way towards him, or does she feel indebted to him for the rest of this game?
No, I think
That's what I think.
I think it's worse. I think she backstabs him even worse. It's like a magnet, bro. It's like a magnet, but when you're like trying to attract it, it's like perfectly like flies away. Like the
Okay, I do kind of see that.
Angela, you try to bring her to an alliance. Tucker was like, come to the alliance, Oh yeah, sure. You don't even have to be on the bottom. You can be my final 2. And that's her one she wants to backstab. Like anyone that gets close to her, it's like actually like a danger zone. She's like radioactive. She's radioactive.
Yeah.
Like the challenge. Anyone that gets close to her is gonna get poisoned. You know who doesn't get poisoned? Leah. Like Cam, like neither of them have had any issues with Angela because they have no plans with her at all, That's it.
True.
I'm not joking. It's crazy.
It's true. It's
We're
true.
onto something.
It's wild. But anyway, so Tucker, Angela goes to Quinn, of all fucking people, goes to Quinn and Leah and MJ. Blows my mind. The person she told the power about and the person who backdoored her showmance. She goes to them and says, I want Tucker out. What? Is she? Yeah, she's crazy. She is a horrific player. Oh my god.
Pre-renoms too.
mm.
I mean, it was a face palm all around.
Oh my god, that's so true. It was ridiculous. And so Quinn says, I swear on everything, I won't go tell him. Immediately. Goes and tells Tucker immediately. Oh, Finn, was there any sense in what Angela did?
Not really. Not really, because Tucker was the one person who actually wanted to work with her in this house. And she's just like, no, that can't be right because he's in a showmance. But like, here's the thing. If you really sit down and think about it logically, more often than not, showmances are going to be split up or at least get targeted to split them up at some point long before you get anywhere near final two. So the fact that Tucker's saying, I'm going to take you to the final two, I think that's him saying, listen, I know Rubina's probably going to get evicted if I don't, so you're the person I want to take to the end. Obviously, you can't say that, especially to someone like Angela. But, you know, if you think about it logically, it makes sense. It makes sense for him to want to go to the end with her. And, I mean, she's probably not going to win. If she somehow wins this season, I will be floored.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone that she could say. Maybe if she sits next to MJ, but I think like even now, like MJ has been like is more likable than Angela. Like I really don't see Angela sitting next to anyone.
Yeah,
unless something happens like that really like messes up a lot of things. Like I don't know, like Cam. I don't even know. Like I really don't know. Like if some like Joseph gets the end with Angela, but Joseph backstabs everyone is just like is an awful person. Maybe like I just don't see it though.
Right. And you know, if MJ makes it that deep in the game, she's probably going to be relevant. And like at that point, I think there's a case for her to win. You know, she went from having her showmance evicted week 1 to being completely irrelevant for the entire pre-jury to getting to the final 2. I think that's a winning story right there.
Yeah, I think like maybe if Angela gets to the end and like people are literally like, I can't believe Angela got to the end. Let's give it to her as some sick joke. Maybe. Like maybe. It's crazy. But anyway, so Tucker tries to go and Tikor at this moment is trying to figure out who to volunteer to the block. So it's between Leah and Angela. And so throughout all this shenanigans, Tikor says in the diary room that if Angela's saying she wants Tucker out, then she can't be trusted. Miri, do you think Tikor's being honest here, or do you think that like there's more to it than what she said?
Oh, there's definitely more to it. I mean, Tikor at least has shown on feeds from the little bit I've seen and the little updates I've seen that I'd say at least a quarter of her decision making or her rationale kind of comes from personal feelings. She does not fuck with Angela. She has not fucked with Angela for the most part. And I think she was just kind of in the same way she was like looking for any reason to nominate Tucker because of his threat level. She was looking for any reason to nominate Angela just because of like wanting to get her out. You know what I'm saying?
Level. Yeah. Like, she's like, whatever. If Angela goes, I don't even care. Kind of bad move for blowing up both like two people on your alliance, but
horrible move. I'm so down to talk about her HOH when we get to it. Like it was, I'm floored that someone, in my opinion, has come even close to how bad that Quinn ran his HOH. You know what I'm saying?
And you think Tikor did, eh? All right,
I think she comes close. I think she comes close for real.
We will get to it because I do think this is like something that's going to take up a lot of our time. But Tikor puts up Angela as the nomination after Cam takes himself off the block. And we get into tonight's episode 3, and it starts off with Tucker just pissed at Tikor, absolutely saying like mean things about her, but like warranted things. He did give her $5,000. He is in an alliance with her. He did offer himself up on the block. I get Tucker's feelings. Like he sacrificed a lot. He said it in the episode. He gives and he gives and he gives and he never receives. And I get it. This game is not one where you have to you're not going to get rewarded for just giving yourself. But like, Finn, did you feel like Tucker had any like right in this situation?
I absolutely think he has a right to be frustrated. I mean, granted, a lot of the reasons why he's in the position he is in at this point are due to his own actions and messy gameplay, to be fair. But at the same time, I think he absolutely has a right to be upset with the way this week played out. I mean, he was happy that T-Core won. He is working closely with T-Core. He's in a group of people who are working together because they just really enjoy each other's company in this house. And like you said, he just gave her $5,000. I mean, to be fair, he knew he was going to be getting money anyways, let's be real. But at the same time, I don't even think this move was in T-Core's best interest. Because like she can't really, the only reason not putting up Leah just kind of keeps her on a good level with Quinn. But like Quinn is someone who's probably going to turn on her at some point anyways, especially now that it seems like the house dynamic is shifting a little bit and is probably splitting up a little bit at this point. I think we're looking at a split house here.
I think that Leah, like, we can get to it again, but like, if I was Tucker, I'd be pissed. And I'd also like feel like I had some like right where I'm like, that was dumb. And like from Tucker's perspective, obviously it was really dumb. But from Tucker's perspective, it was also dumb that he got put up on the block in the first place. And like, he's the one that offered. So that was dumb. But a lot of dumb things going on in this house, I find a lot of the time, which is why it's entertaining. But Angela, who just got put on the block, bawling her eyes out, talks about the 6th Avenue Alliance. Guys, Mary, that alliance was created last freaking week. It's already been blown up.
Man, I was just getting ready to give this alliance my stand card, give it my backing.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, next iconic alliance, we got it, man. But, shit had to hit the fan.
You did say yes to, you said the alliance was awesome with Angela, Tucker, T-Core, and Chemo, who have now backstabbed every alliance that they've been in. I mean,
I was hoping this one would stick, man.
It did not. And Chelsea takes advantage of the situation. She ends up plotting against Tucker and that side of the house, the 6th Avenue Alliance, because they're eating each other. And so Chelsea plants in multiple people's heads, what if Tucker's on the block at the end of the week? Should we take him out? She talks to Cam. She talks to MJ. MJ says to the diary room, I'm taking out Tucker this week. She then talks to Quinn. Quinn says, I have to mull it over deeply. That's a lie. He probably thought about it for about 5 seconds and was like, I'm going to just only vote out Tucker for sure. Do you guys feel like this might be a crowning moment for Chelsea?
Absolutely. I think this is exactly the move she needed to make. From her perspective, I think it's pretty clear that T-Core and Chemo can't really be trusted, and it's pretty clear that they are working with Tucker and Angela. And like Quinn 2 weeks ago, they made the mistake of putting one of their own allies on the block as a pawn, and they had to strike. And I have to give Chelsea props for doing that. I don't like that it came at the expense of Tucker, but I respect game, and that was the move she needed to make this week. And massive props to Chelsea.
Yeah, I totally agree. Mary, what about Cam? Do you think this was the right move for Cam?
I definitely think it was a good move for Cam. I mean, you got to if I'm Cam, you got to put all your trust into Chelsea to lead the way. She's going to be the brains of the operation and probably the brawn. I mean, they're tied in comp wins. Actually, no, she has one more than him. So, I think Chelsea will be his salvation in this game. So I would just shut up and listen to her, fam.
I honestly would. I'd be learning from Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea's not like the greatest player in the world. She kind of threw her game away like 3 weeks ago, but she's recovering really well. And I think like after like the craziness of like this game, like I can understand why Chelsea likes let it slip. She's lucky the bullet didn't hit her, but also even if she was on the block next to Cam, she wasn't taking that bullet. So she was pretty safe no matter what. And so she really started to recover after that situation. And so I do have to give her a lot of flowers. But moving on, we get to the AI arena that looks like it's built. It's built for Tucker to win. Am I crazy about this? Puzzles, heavy blocks, moving fast. I was like, Tucker's got this in the bag.
Until he didn't.
Well, you gotta listen to the rules, you know.
Mhm.
So the competition is cool. It's kind of fun. It's like they have to bring heavy blocks, place them, and it writes a code on it. Tucker ends up putting it backwards. Angela, no chance in this competition. No way she was ever gonna win. She wasn't doing bad though. She actually wasn't. But no way she was gonna win against MJ, who is firing through this competition like her life depended on it, and it did depend on it. And Miri, we see that MJ wins the AI arena. How did you feel?
You know, for a lot of fans, I'm sure across the world, this was a complete devastating moment. It was for me for sure, but I also got to give some props to MJ because I think like 2 times now, she has pulled that safety out of the fire in the AI arena and clutched up. And, I think she's going to start becoming a little more iconic. We're going to see more MJ stands. I think, a lot of people's stock went up this week in the game, and MJ's rose a lot. So props to her, man.
Yeah, I think that was really impressive by MJ. I think it's really awesome when she wins the AI comp and she just goes down on the floor and bangs the floor. I get she's probably praying, but like I do think it's kind of fun. Like she's like, thank the Lord, and I love that, you know? Like it's kind of sweet. Yeah, MJ is just not in any like she was so out of the loop with the Matt situation, and so like she's just been absolutely dragging herself out of this pit that she's made for herself. And I think similar to Cam, Chelsea is definitely a guiding light-ish for MJ. And I'm really interested to see where MJ goes because like her and Leah haven't really been close, I don't think, the whole season, but everyone just glues them together. And I think like MJ going to the end with Leah could be like a possible path for MJ to win. Am I crazy or?
No, that's spot on. I mean, right now I feel like Leah is someone who is kind of just at first I think it was smart for her to kind of just fade into the background. But now I think she's running into a problem where no one's really going to take her seriously in the game. Whereas at least with MJ, she's winning comps and she's saving herself. And that's going to gain people's respect. And there's going to come a point where people are going to be working with her in the game. And she's very much going to be back in this game. Give it a couple more weeks and she might not really be on the block anymore. There might just be bigger fish to fry and it might get her to the end.
Yeah, especially if she keeps being such a good comp beast. Like, we might have another, like, Casey, you know? Like, another female comp beast. Like, I could see MJ doing it for sure. Cam goes in the next, like, 2-3 weeks, you know? And then who else does she really have as competition? Quinn? Like, that's it. That's all they want. Maybe Chelsea? Maybe. I feel like everyone else is just a freebie. So I am really interested to see, like, maybe MJ's path is, you know, everyone's been calling her a comp beast all season. Like, maybe that's her path to the end, just actually being what people say, you know? Like, they speak it into existence that she's a comp beast. All right.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
It would work.
Sorry. Yeah, go.
Oh, I was just saying it would work. I agree with you.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
They go back to the room, and this is the first time I see the winner not the first one down the
Mhm.
stairs. That's why Angela's the first one down the stairs. And I think it's because Angela's so excited to start campaigning for herself to stay because man, they reveal MJ is the one safe and Angela immediately, I want to be a part of you. That's it. Immediately, you know.
Yo, that wasn't a bad impression, bro.
I've been dreaming of Big Brother recently, and so I think I'm dreaming Angela's voice. But yeah, Tucker seems really sad, like he's kind of admitted defeat. And I don't know about you guys, but do you think Tucker could have maybe pulled out one of the votes of the 5 that voted against him at all?
I think it was a done deal. I really don't think anyone was not going to vote him out in this situation besides the 3 that kept him. Like, I'm thinking through the votes, and it's like Chelsea and Cam weren't going to do it. MJ wasn't going to do it. Quinn definitely wasn't going to do it. And Leah, yeah, I really don't think anyone was going to go out of their way to keep him. Oh, and Joseph, I guess maybe Joseph. I keep forgetting.
No, Joseph did vote for him to stay.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
Joseph,
He did.
Chemo, and Ravina.
For some reason, I thought T-Core voted him to stay, but obviously she didn't vote.
Would T-Core have voted for him to stay if it was a tie, you think? Or do you think she would have evicted him?
I think I'd like to think so. I mean, well, at this point, she'd be deciding between 2 people in her alliance, and I feel like Tucker is the better person to keep in the game, and she has a better relationship with Tucker. And Angela just blew up her entire alliance. So
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
through this game. Oh, no.
I'd be shocked if Chemo would vote a different way than T-Core, you know? So, and him voting Angela, I think that dictates to me that what they decided today going into the live show was that if it was Tucker and Angela, they wanted Angela to go.
Yo,
But they were a little bit too late.
I'm almost like, do you try your best to convince Cam to keep you and be like, and like try to placate him, not even like emotionally, like placate him as like, dude, if I go out, you're going to be the only strong guy left. You're going to be targeted. You're going to be targeted. And maybe he doesn't flip. And that's the 4th vote you need. I mean, he looked pretty close to not wanting to vote Tucker out in that booth.
yeah.
I mean, I'd say the only chance that he would have had at swinging someone that last minute would have been Cam, I think. And maybe if he had handled Leah a little better in the aftermath of her crush on him and the emergence of his showmance, maybe if he was more of a cutthroat player or a more like Dan or Will-esque player that's going to manipulate you a little more, then I think he could have had Leah a little more hooked on keeping him around. But he's just not that kind of guy, which we love him for, but it was not going to lead to, you know, the more cutthroat players keeping him around just because they love him, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Not enough varsity players.
Well, Tucker goes out 5-3. Rabina is stunned. She can't even stand up. Chemo bawling. Leah bawling again.
Joseph bawling.
Joseph, man, bawling. Angela, obviously bawling.
And still
Cam,
no emotion from T-Core.
yeah, I think T-Core, I don't even know what T-Core's thinking at this point. And I guess that leads into, guys, how do we feel about this HOH? Miri, I know you've been waiting to get at it. Let's hear it. What do you think about this HOH?
I mean, I'll say this first and foremost. Do I think her game is sunk? Not one bit. T-Core is a competent player. She's a capable player. But when I say this was a really bad HOH, I say it for a few reasons. One, she didn't use this week to propel herself into a further insulated power structure. She only blew up the power structure that she was a part of. You know, when her and Chemo flipped the house at the Cedric boot, it was almost like reminiscent of Corey in America last season, flipping the house on Jared and then immediately losing their power. Losing their hold on the house back to Jag and Matt. You know, this was just like that. They had a chance this week to further solidify 6th Avenue and get out someone that was, you know, a clear threat at them via Cam, MJ, or Leah, in my opinion. But they allowed the drama that comes with wild cards like Angela and Tucker to kind of just, and I say they, meaning like Chemo and T-Core, because they were kind of planning it together, I'd say. But I just think, taking the shot at Tucker is one thing, but once you're nominating two members of your alliance, even as annoying as Angela is, you put her up on that block, you lose the numbers for the vote, first and foremost, and you just alienate the entire house to you. And now that the vote has flipped against them, I don't think we're going to see them in as cushy a spot. And I'd even beg to say we could see them on the block next week.
I agree. I think that Finn, you can go if you wanted to first. So I have some things I want to say too.
Yeah, I think we're at what, 10 left? Yeah, we're getting
Yep.
to a point where winning HOH is going to be absolutely critical. I said it before, I think we're kind of heading to a sort of split house dynamic where we're going to have Chelsea's side of things on one side. We got Chelsea's regaining her numbers. She's got Cam,
Chelsea, MJ, Cam, Leah, Joseph kind of playing the middle still.
Yeah, I'd say Quinn is more on that side than he is on T-Core's side at this point.
I think that Quinn might go
Maybe.
back to that side, to be honest.
There's a lot of people who are playing in the middle. Like Joseph is smack in the middle. He can go either way. Especially now that he voted to keep Tucker. I think he absolutely, that kind of lets him, go back into the shadows a little bit. Homer Simpson in a little, if you will. Let's see. Yeah. So then I think Quinn is also kind of in the middle. He's definitely got a lot of options here. And now for T-Core and Chemo, I think one of them needs to, well, T-Core can't win this HOH. I think Chemo needs to win this HOH for him and T-Core. And then I guess that leaves what? Angela? I don't know what's going to happen with Angela. She's burned pretty much everyone in the house at this point. I don't think
chaotic.
No one's going to want to work with her again because she just blew up an alliance. And
who want to vote her out, though? I feel like at this point, like, who wants to vote out Angela?
Yeah,
I think anyone.
Maybe we'll get a week where everyone's just like, all right, let's just get rid of Angela. I don't know, but. Yeah, Angela's just kind of there. I think maybe
I feel like you get rid of Joseph instead of Angela. Like if you really want to take someone out of the middle, you're like, whatever, like let's keep Angela, let's snipe out Joseph at this
absolutely. Point, I just question if people are actually going to do it because Joseph is like really well liked socially by pretty much everyone in the house.
Really? I don't see that. I don't see that.
I don't think anyone.
Think he's like the eighth most liked player by everyone. I think.
I just don't really see anyone going after him is kind of where I'm coming from. Like,
yeah, but I feel like it's like kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, if you're going to take the shot in the middle, you don't want to take a shot at one side. You take the shot not at Angela. Why would you take the shot at Angela when you could take out someone that's way more sneaky, way more stealthy, way more game oriented, who actually knows what the hell they're doing, like Joseph, when like Angela, like what's Angela doing? Like chaos, like she doesn't even have Tucker as a weapon anymore.
That's true.
She's neutralized.
Right. Either way, I think this HOH is a must-win for a lot of people. The game flipped again, power has shifted, and whoever wins this HOH is going to either have the ability to kind of keep things going in the direction they're going, or change course and take out a big player. And time will tell. I'm going to check and see if the feeds are back quick.
Oh, yeah, please do. Because while you're doing that, I'm going to go over my opinions quick. I think that this HOH was a complete and utter failure. I think that Leah, MJ, Cam should have been on the block. Angela could have been the renomination. I think you keep Tucker in the game, and because he's obviously not immune forever. You backdoor him like 2, 3, 4 rounds from now, or try to get him out at some point. I think that he's definitely indebted to you. He's said how much he's indebted to you. I think that you take out Leah, you take out MJ, you take out Cam. Hell, I even think maybe you take out Chelsea just because she's such a competent player. But T-Core, like you said, Miri, was so like not able to deal with the chaos, and T-Core as a human is not a chaotic person. And so she just can't deal with the chaotic nature of this house. I think if you put her in a house that's way more structured, like hell, even last season, I think you put her in like BB24. I bet you she does a fantastic job there. I think She's doing a fantastic job here, but she just can't handle dealing with players as volatile as Tucker and as Angela. And so in her head, she's like, well, I'll just put them up there and hopefully nothing happens. And I think that's really going to bite her in the ass. I think Chelsea has zero issues with voting T-Core out at any point if it means that Chelsea's getting to the end with Cam or with MJ. And if Chelsea gets anywhere near that end game, I think Chelsea's a lock to win. I think that T-Core really like handled her nominations. Even when she made terrible decisions, she handled them terribly while they were on the block. She did not like curtailed them at all. And it resulted in Tucker like really disappointed in her. It resulted in Angela blowing up the entire alliance. And it resulted in Leah and MJ gaining an extreme amount of power that they should have never held in their entire games. And now they have an absolute weird amount of power. I think that T-Core, Chemo, and Rabina hit the block next week. If anyone except them three or Quinn win, and T-Core can't win. So there's 3 out of a third that is good for them, and 2/3 that are probably going to put them up. And T-Core might not be the first shot, but guess who's going to be the first shot? Probably Chemo. I think Chemo is in maybe the worst spot he's ever been in, and I think that his passive gameplay this past whole season, really, to be honest, is really going to show in a negative light next week. And in my opinion, I think Chemo's the next one out.
Yeah, he's next.
I think Chemo's next. I think Chemo. I think people will say Rabina, and then it might be Rabina. First of all, I think Rabina beats both T-Core and Chemo on the block for AI Arena. I think Quinn beats any of them that if he's up against them, but I don't think Quinn hits the block unless he's backdoored. And I think Joseph hits the block before Quinn, actually, at this point, if like Chelsea, Cam, or anyone's in power. And guess what? You have Rabina and Chemo sitting next to each other, or Chemo and T-Core sitting next to each other. Do you take out the person that just lost their showmance? Maybe not. Do you take out the T-Core when, T-Core just basically saved your game, Chelsea or Cam? Maybe not. I think Chemo then is like, oh, well, we don't have any more showmances in the house, but we have a friend-mance in basically deeper than a showmance, I think, like with Chemo and T-Core.
Duo.
Yeah,
full-blown duo.
Attached at the hip. I don't know. If I'm Chelsea, if I'm Cam, if I'm MJ, if I'm Leah, I'm thinking, let's take Chemo out.
Yeah, that makes
honestly,
sense.
That is pretty valid. I mean, the one interesting thing that I could see maybe a really competent player like someone like Chelsea or Quinn even could book here is we're 1 round away from jury, right? And I mean, who would you rather have if you're trying to target T-Core and Chemo? Do you want Chemo, who is such a super fan and he is very chill, positive, probably going to be a good mayor of the jury? Or do you want the person who's probably been the most indecisive this entire season in T-Core leading your jury, being the you know what I'm saying? So if it could be a case where I could see if Chemo is up there, maybe they do flip it on to T-Core just because they'd rather have Chemo on jury.
I could see that too. I could see them being like, whoa, T-Core is willing to take huge shots. She's flipped the house twice. She's everyone loves her. And I could definitely see MJ being like, T-Core put me up. Like, we should vote her out. She's got everyone on the handle. And guess what? Unfortunately for T-Core, who's like, Chelsea's my untouchable, Chelsea ain't saying shit. There ain't no way Chelsea's being like, T-Core's my untouchable.
No shot.
There's levels to this. There's levels to this, fam.
No. I don't know. I think this was a terrible, terrible HOH. It was so entertaining. But like,
For real.
Yeah.
Great TV, but like, Anyway, anything
But I'm
else
losing a
anyone
draft
wants to say?
pick the next week, is what you're saying. I'm
Yeah.
losing a draft pick.
I think but Chemo, Rabina's not a terrible comp player. Rabina might be fired up from Tucker going out.
True.
I don't know if she's like, if it's the opposite though. If she's like, oh fuck, like she's in a fog and she loses, or if she's fired up, she wins. I actually think, who I think is going to win HOH. Or should we go into this? Should we say who we think wins HOH? Who we think? Okay,
Let's do it.
I'm going to go first. I think MJ wins HOH.
Spicy.
Yep.
All
I
right.
think MJ.
That would be fun. I'm going to go. I think Angela's going to gun for it again.
Wow. That would
And
be fucking awesome.
yeah, Angela winning HOH a third time before jury even starts. Oh my God. That would be amazing.
I want to be right, but I want you to be right more than me.
Yeah.
For the sake of being different, I won't pick Queen Angela 2 weeks in a row to win the HOH, but I am manifesting with you, Finn. I hope it's Queen Angela. She needs to punch her ticket to jury. That being said, I'm gonna make a different guess, and I'm gonna go with Chelsea. I want her to get that HOH dub, but I want her to royally fuck over to Chemo. I want her to be bathing in blood by the end of her next HOH reign. I want her to fully take over this house because I personally think Chelsea on paper, or at least like kind of having seen her game kind of evolve throughout and see her adapt, I think she's the best player in that house. You stick around any season, I'd pick her to do the best overall out of anybody on this cast, I'd say. And because she's so good at adapting to the situation. Case in point this week. So I just hope I hope she if it's not Angela, I hope it's Chelsea, and I hope she doesn't take the easy option, just try and get an Angela out before jury. I hope she goes for the jugular and really takes a big shot.
I think Chelsea's in such a good position. And even if she doesn't win, she's got like the two hugest comp players, Cam and MJ, basically in her pocket. It's a Chelsea doing this is just absolutely so impressive for her. I think she's the big winner this week. I think Quinn, we haven't talked much about Quinn. I do think Quinn's just buried himself in his game really deeply. I think though he's gonna be able to crawl himself out of this. I think like a Quinn HOH could be okay as well, especially if he wins HOH and T-Core, Chemo, Rabina are like, we gotta tell him that Leah hates him. And they finally let him know, and Quinn hits Joseph, Leah MJ, or Cam, Leah MJ. I think that could be a decent shot for Quinn. And re-solidify as like the fourth in the T-Core Rabina Chemo squad. And then also lets them take the heat for the vote. Could be interesting as well.
Hey, question for y'all.
Yeah.
Do y'all think Quinn is rapidly approaching contention for biggest snake we've seen on the show? I mean, let's be real. A winning Quinn game is going to be villainous. It's going to be snaky. It's going to be
about bathing in blood. Quinn's going to have to swim in it. Yeah.
It's going to be BB14 Dan meets BB15 Andy. It's going to be just ruthless, man.
I think Quinn's going to be riding high too, because he's like, but Quinn plays so bad on the top. He plays so bad on the top. So like Quinn almost needs to be like in the middle to low to play well, which is weird because usually it's like easier. Like me personally, whenever I play these social strategy games, when I play on top, I play so much better than when I play like not on top. And so like he's the kind of player who's like opposite. He likes to play from the bottom. Like Miri, I think you're like a top player as well. Like you like playing like with control, with like that interconnection. Finn, I actually feel like you're kind of like a middle player. Like you can play kind of ride that middle, but like
I love playing the middle.
Yeah, you do. But like I feel like Quinn is like wants to be like, oh, I play the middle, but I don't think he's that type of player. I think he actually needs to be like perceived as like, yeah, he's snaky, but like he's got no power. You know what I mean? And that's when he's like most powerful. But any other things from you guys? Oh, I guess Tucker won 20K as well.
That's true. There is one more thing.
Deserved.
Julie Chen teased that next week Ainsley has an announcement that is going to change up the game. So, considering next week will be the 10th place eviction, so I assume jury is going to start after the eviction next week. Could this mean the end of the AI arena?
I think that next week's the last week of AI Arena. I think it stops in jury, and I think that maybe they might have a smaller but still funky twist for post jury. I don't know. What do you think, Mary?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ainsley's probably going to announce end of AI Arena and start a jury. That seems like the most like easy announcement
Yeah.
for her to make. That's like in her department. I mean, the other option is we're going to be thrown into some kind of new twist. I mean, maybe not as game changing as the arena, but maybe they're going to say there's something hidden in the house. Maybe they're going to say there's like, you know, maybe it's like the basement from BB22. Maybe there's like a chance to earn some powers. Who knows, man? The cloud app BB20, you know what I mean? Who knows? It could be anything, but you know, I'm hoping I'm hoping it's just something that you know, just keeps the season spicy. I mean, my biggest worry now that we've lost Tucker is that we're gonna be having to go back to just fully hoping these people are playing a hard strategic game, because I don't know if this cast sans Angela can really carry entertainment wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I am curious. They definitely lost a star. Is everyone going to get a little brighter, or is the sky going to be dark? We're going to find out. Yeah, we're going to find out. So that's everything, guys. Thank you for joining us to the Big Brothers podcast. That was a fantastic episode. Can't wait for next week. Let's find out. And that's everything. Tune in next week for week 7. And that's it. Big Brothers podcast. We're out. Deuces.